exercise Trade Winds came to a close on St. Kitts Tuesday night with a ceremony at Government House. A large-scale raid featuring more than 300 multinational troops was held on Monday, June 11th at the Fort Thomas Hotel, as the men and women got an opportunity to showcase some of the skills and techniques they learnt during Phase 1 of Exercise Trade Winds 2018. The simulated operation featured a high-value target being held up in the building. A small group of soldiers eliminated the sentries outside and cordoned off the area before the main force moved in. An intense exchange of gunfire ensued, and the troops used flashbang and smoke grenades in the operation to secure the building. They meticulously and efficiently executed room-clearing exercises as they moved from floor to floor, neutralizing the opposing forces and searching for intelligence until the high-value target was successfully captured and extracted.
You don't want it to be the first time you see it in real life, so you want to train like we fight. That way when it happens for real, you know what you're supposed to do and you revert back to your training.
While some may insist that the likelihood of such a large-scale security threat is relatively low in smaller Caribbean countries, Mr. Llewellyn emphasized that an important function of the annual Trade Winds exercise is to be prepared for any possible threat.
The world's changing as we speak, so you never know. It's always good to have that type of training, and then I don't think there's any harm in it. And you always want to prepare for something more drastic than you're really going to have to deal with. So if they have to deal with something less drastic, they'll be ready for it.
The U.S. Southcom officials noted that Monday's exercise was one of the largest land force activities to date. It is a sign of the organizers' willingness to increase the scale and scope of activities to reflect the changing security and disaster scenarios that may actually unfold in the future. Commenting on the success of the exercises at Tuesday's closing ceremony, Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Timothy Harris stated that the joint cooperation has proven beneficial to improving the wider region's initiatives in reducing crime in the Caribbean and, by extension, the Western Hemisphere. Tuesday's closing ceremony was attended by Governor-General His Excellency Sir S. W. Tapley Seaton, the Federation's only living national hero, the Right Excellent and Right Honorable Sir Kennedy Simmons, members of the Federal Cabinet, representatives of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, High Command of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, top brass of St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force, as well as participants and facilitators of Exercise Trade Winds 2018. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. A bushfire in Ponds Extension on Thursday afternoon disrupted schools and commercial activities in the Bastille area and its environs.
And as you can see, the fire is getting bigger. It's getting hotter even as we get closer to it. It's spreading quickly right across the shrubbery and the bush. The fire truck just left this area. I guess it's going to another area to try to see how best it could put out the fire, but it is getting worse as we speak.
SK Newsline spoke to Mr. Everett Ogaro, Fire Chief at the St. Kitts Fire and Rescue Services.
Well, we responded to a fire early this afternoon in the Ponds area. The fire basically threatened a number of private properties and the Seventh Adventist school in the area. We responded with 4 tenders. The men are still there. They're still basically, what we're doing is basically monitoring the fire to make sure that it doesn't spread to any private property in the area. After determining the cause of the fire, we are yet to do that. As the operation is still ongoing, and so at the end of the day, an investigation will ensue, and if we, combine information, we would pass that on. But we still have not determined what will have been the cause of the fire yet.
Can you say what the challenges were in trying to address this fire? I know there was a time when the Fire and Rescue Services actually went to the heart of it and then had to go to another area as the fire was spreading.
Yeah, that's what you just explained is basically the problems we have with these fires, or the challenge that we have with these fires, in that it is burning in a huge area. However, most of it, where it is located, is not accessible to our fire trucks, and so basically we have to just monitor. The other challenges we have is the weather condition, the high winds, and so the wind would help to spread this fire much more rapidly. And so these are things that we definitely challenge with when we go and see fires like these. And so the fact that we cannot accept the critical areas or critical points of the fires with the high wind that would allow it to spread to a number of areas. And so, these are some of the challenges that we have when we respond to fires such as these.
No, at the Seventh Adventist school, I know the students, they were very close to the fire. There was also another daycare at the Christian Assembly Church that also was in close proximity to the fire. Could you just explain to us what transpired with their concern in terms of evacuation?
Yeah, one of the things we would do, in fact, we have an ongoing program with schools as it pertains to fire safety and fire prevention. And so one of the things we would have done is to make sure we alert the schools, the authorities at the school at an early stage of the fire, and advise them to at least evacuate the children or put in place an evacuation operation for the children at an early stage. And so that is one of the things we would have done to make sure that the children would have been in a place of safety.
Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, issued an urgent public notice relating to the fire. It said that the Fire and Rescue Services is currently dealing with a bushfire at Ponds Extension, Bastyr. Motorists and other road users are asked to exercise extreme caution in the area of the Seventh-day Adventist Primary School. The school has closed in response to this hazard, and parents and guardians should ensure that their children are safely at home at this time. The National Emergency Management Agency urges everyone to avoid the area if possible so that the fire personnel can take the necessary actions. Reporting for SKN Newsline on the fire in Bastyr, I'm Andre Huey.
Looking for the best in body and hair treatment and the most comfortable and cleanest environment? Then look no further than Structures Bow, located on Carden Avenue, Bastyr. Structures Bow is a one-stop location for hair care, relaxing and color, weaving, natural hair remedies and in-store MUA, waxing, facials, massages and body scrubs. Our staff offers the finest service in manicure, pedicure, nails, gel and acrylic. Men, Structures Bow is for you too. We've created a one-of-a-kind barber section just for you. We've made a stunning and comfortable atmosphere fitting for the king and queen treatment that you deserve. Only at Structures Bow on Carden Avenue in St. Johnson's Village, Bastyr. Call us at 766-2328. Structures Bow. It's simply heaven on earth.
How does it feel when you got that feeling? You got the flavor you love. How does it feel when you know you're not dreaming? There is nothing above. So good when you're feeling nice. So good it tastes just right. So good the place to be. So good it's KFC.
How you feel when things come together? How you feel when everything nice? How you feel when you're up on your ends with your friends? Everybody holding a vibe now. How you feel when things come together? How you feel when everything nice? How you feel when you savor the flavor, the feeling you get when you taste every bite?
So good when you get that meal. So good is the way you feel. So good any time of day. So good is what you say. So good when you dance all night. So good it tastes just right. So good the place to be. So good it's KFC.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded, getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
On the road to good health, you must visit Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street. Nature's Discount is your first stop for all natural supplements to maintain the health of the entire family. Natural alternative medicines to heal your ailments. Natural weight management supplies to ensure you look good. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center also carries all of your sports nutrition supplies, cleansing and digestion products, natural health and beauty products, oils, organic and gluten-free foods, energy and endurance, and sexual well-being supplements. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street is open 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Fridays and evenings 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturdays. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center, your get healthy, feel wealthy people.
For the best in dental care, visit Dental Beginnings on Victoria Road, Bastair. We offer professional dental care in a variety of services: cleanings, extractions, fillings, oral examination, root canal treatment, crown and bridge, and sealants. We're open from Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call us at 465-1951 or 668-1955. Or email us at dentalbeginnings@gmail.com. A gentle dentist in a comfortable and friendly environment. Dental Beginnings. It all begins with a smile.
The National Housing Corporation, NHC, handing over in Green Acres half a tree was held on the 12th of June. Prime Minister Timothy Harris spoke at this ceremony, congratulating the persons who received houses.
I want to start by saying congratulations. Congratulations to all of you who today received the keys to your home. Let's again give them all a wonderful round of applause.
Mr. Harris also said that it was because of unity that these homes are distributed.
It was because of unity and the vision of helpfulness for the people of the country why we are here today to celebrate the distribution of homes to this part of St. Christopher.
16 houses were distributed to the people of Half-Way-Tree on the 12th of June. Eugene Hamilton, Minister of Housing, said that under this government, a total of 43 houses were delivered.
Since we have become the government, the team unity government, this delivery of houses now bring to the number in this constituency to 43. We first delivered 27. People have forgotten that right here. And now we are delivering another 16, some on private land and some on this particular area.
Meanwhile, Mr. Lindsey Grant, Member of Parliament for Constituency Number 4, stated that they are committed to build 300 houses before election.
We have been committed to build out 300 houses before the next general election rolls around. I am advised that we are almost halfway there by the Minister of Human Settlements, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton. Halfway there. We have 150 about more to go. But you know, some people are passing down the road and they say the unity government is not building any houses. And maybe part of the reason they are saying that is because this is what we call a cluster here this morning. Maybe they're not seeing clusters. But I want to tell you this government is doing something very, very innovative.
The Team Unity government, through its Unity Housing Solutions program, administered by the National Housing Corporation, NHC, presented house keys to 37 new homeowners this week, including Lavington in Settlers Village on Thursday, June 14th. I am Chiari Morton, SKN Newsline.
St. Kitts and Nevis recorded its 16th homicide for the year 2018 on Saturday after Ronaldo Jeffers of St. Peter's was gunned down as he sat in a bus on College Street, Gut. According to police, sometime after 8 p.m. on Saturday, June 16, they received a report of a shooting incident in College Street, Gut. Several units responded along with members of the emergency medical services. Upon arrival, they found the motionless body of 33-year-old Ronaldo Jeffers of St. Peter's in the driver's seat of a bus he had been driving. He had what appeared to be multiple gunshot wounds about the body and the head, the report said. Investigations have so far revealed that during the evening, Jeffers had parked in the area and was in the vehicle when a lone gunman rode upon a bicycle and shot him multiple times. The district medical officer visited the scene and pronounced him dead. Members of the crime scene unit arrived, processed the scene, and collected items of evidential value. Police investigation into the matter are ongoing. Persons with information regarding the incident are urged to call any police station or the Violent Crimes Unit at 467-1887, 467-1888, or 662-3468. Meanwhile, police have formally charged a 16-year-old male for the murder of a 17-year-old who was shot and killed at his home in Taylor's Village on May 30th. The 16-year-old was also charged for attempted murder of Antonio Lestrade, aged 19 years, and a 15-year-old male who both received gunshot injuries during the said incident. The charges were laid in the presence of a probation officer and his brother on June 16th. One other person is currently in police custody assisting with the investigations. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
The hurricane season 2018 started on June 1st. Mr. Elmer Burke, Chief Weatherman, speaking on Hurricane Preparedness Program From Danger to Safety, said that we are looking at about 14 storms to develop into the Atlantic Ocean, and 7 may develop into hurricanes.
But for now, we are looking at a slightly above average, and when we say slightly above average, we are looking at about 14 storms expected for the Atlantic Ocean, because that's the region that we are speaking about. And out of those 14 storms, 7 of those may develop into hurricanes, and out of those 7 hurricanes, it is likely that 3 of them might develop into major hurricanes. And as you are aware, major hurricanes are those of category 3, 4, and 5 strength.
He also said that some of the impacts we may get is a severe wet storm.
More storms, you would also get the rough seas accompanying with it, and some storms, because each storm have the different peculiarities. So sometimes we call some dry storms, and you know when we say the dry storms, because we don't get any significant amount of rainfall.
Right.
However, on the flip side, you can have extremely wet storm where you have extreme amount of rainfall. So it depends, and each storm is different, and we assess each storm differently accordingly.
Mr. Burke also said that all storms transition from wave to depression to storm and then to hurricane, but some of them develop more rapidly.
So because the rapid development in terms of the timeline for the transition is short at times. So at times, yes, in an initial report, we might be talking about a tropical wave, for example. And because conditions develop so rapidly in a short time, you would hear us then say, okay, we now have a tropical storm forming. You realize we would have skipped the depression
stage, yeah.
And it is because we now have, in terms of the threshold for the storm, because for the storm we're looking at the wind speed. The wind speed must be of a certain magnitude when you're looking at the sustained winds. So once the sustained winds have reached that magnitude, then we can no longer we can't call it a depression. We have to go straight to the storm.
He also stated that we should recognize that most storms come through the Caribbean and residents should start to prepare now.
This is the path that most storms generally will pass through, come across the Atlantic from Africa and pass through the Caribbean. Because the Caribbean is just right there in the path of it.
Yeah.
So persons, you can't wait until you hear a storm is coming to start to prepare. Start to prepare now. Now that the season is relatively quiet, start to prepare now. If you have your cheese to prune, the basic, if you have a checklist, you know what I mean. If you want to even know more, you could check whether NEMA for advice in terms of what can you do to get yourself in a state of readiness in advance of the hurricane season really picking up and ramping up and so forth.
The Atlantic hurricane season last year produced 2 devastating hurricanes, Hurricane Maria and Irma, that claimed lives and billions of dollars in damage to property. I am Chiari Morton, SKN Newsline.
Another fugitive from a Caribbean island is believed to be hiding out in St. Kitts. A report from the Public Prosecutor's Office of the Dutch island of Curaçao, former Netherlands Antilles, is requesting the help of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis in identifying this man, Quinsley Emmanuel Poppen, who is wanted for the robbery and murder of a Chinese merchant on Curaçao. The Public Prosecutor's Office said it has received information from various sources that the suspect is believed to be Anson Kitts. Poppen was 18 years old when the crime was committed. He is now 23 years old. He speaks English, Papiamento, the native language of Curacao, and Dutch. According to the prosecutor's office, the armed robbery on the Chinese supermarket Hua Jiant on Curacao took place on May 9, 2013. The merchant was killed at a short distance in front of his wife and child and was recorded by cameras in the store as seen in this footage. The Public Prosecutor's Office has issued a reward of 10,000 guilders, that's approximately $5,500 for the person that provides crucial information that leads to the arrest of Poppen. Poppen risks a prison sentence of a maximum of 18 years. It is believed that Poppen has moved between different islands in the Caribbean. He was on St. Martin and other nearby islands in recent months, but is now, according to sources, believed to be hiding on St. Kitts and Nevis, the prosecutor's office said. In view of this, it is very important to distribute photographs and the video of Poppen through the media, the prosecutor's office said. Persons knowing of his whereabouts are encouraged to call 1-721-580-9333 to provide tips to the authorities. This is the second time in 2 months that a fugitive is said to have been hiding out in St. Kitts. In April, a Jamaican fugitive who was living in St. Kitts was held by the authorities in Antigua and Barbuda for a crime committed in his home country earlier this year. The police authorities have indicated that they were not informed by the Jamaican authorities that the person in question was a crime suspect. Hence, he was not flagged in the immigration system when he arrived on the island. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
Best Choice Auto presents the June 1-year anniversary sale. 15% discount off tires Sunday through Friday. 20% discount off tires Saturday. Huge savings on tires. Secure yours now. Call us at 663-3151 for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
The Cable, we provide much more than just the fastest and most reliable internet service. We fill the homes of all our customers with joy and laughter. Our services connect friends and keep families together. With the most extensive fiber optic network, we ensure that you can enjoy the things you love with the people you love. Whether it's catching up with family or old friends, or simply just enjoying your favorite TV shows, people choose the Cable because quality shows.
Now you can have SKN Newsline on the go. Introducing SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Search SKN Newsline in the Google Play Store. Download the app free and stay up to date with TV news in St. Kitts and Nevis in the palm of your hands. With this app, you can watch your news reports, watch our live news feed on SKN Newsline TV, engage with us and other app users in the chat room, look at our special features, send us news tips, and call us directly. It's news on the go. The SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Download it free today. Barbados-based political pollster and analyst Peter Wickham does not think the Peter Verdi scandal will have any negative political impact on Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris or the Team Unity government.
When I think of the Peter Verdi scandal, it speaks to one's perception of a leader's integrity, perhaps. I don't know that it has had an impact politically. If we look at Antigua and Barbuda, they just went through an election. The person at the center of it is former Minister Asset Michael. Asset Michael won close to 90% of the popular support in his constituency. So I'm inclined to think that if it's not going to have an impact in Antigua, where it's what you could say is ground zero, my feeling in regard to the impact it will have here will be even less.
Speaking exclusively to SK Newsline, Mr. Wickham said he does not think the Peter Verdi saga is high on the agenda of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Ultimately, people vote on the basis of what an individual can do for them, or at the level of the country, certainly can do for the country. And my sense is that I don't know that it is high on the list of priorities for petitions, because one hasn't exactly demonstrated how it is supposed to make life harder for persons who live in St. Kitts and Nevis, and certainly how it speaks to a question of whether the individual, the Prime Minister involved, whether that be Prime Minister Harris or Prime Minister Douglas, whether it should impact negatively on the integrity of either of those individuals. And I think this is where my challenge comes. So I am not inclined to see it as high on the list of priorities. I think there are other things which are more important to Kittitians and Nevisians at this point in time.
In a tax fraud case involving UK business tycoon Peter Singh Verdi, includes transcript of a phone conversation between Mr. Verdi and his business partner. In the transcripts of the conversations dating back to as far as 2014 up to 2016, Mr. Verdi mentions the Prime Ministers of St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, and the Energy Minister of Antigua, suggesting he was negotiating a bribe with them. Specific references were made of the Prime Minister of St. Kitts in exchange of the opportunity for Mr. Verdi to invest in the country. The Antiguan minister implicated, Mr. Asant Michael, has since resigned. Prime Minister Harris has maintained that there is no evidence to implicate he negotiated or took a bribe from Mr. Verdi, a view shared by some legal experts. Mr. Wickham agrees.
My question is whether there is evidence to suggest that Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris or alternatively Prime Minister Dr. Denzel Douglas was involved, because mention was made of a Prime Minister of St. Kitts. We've had two in recent times, and I'm anxious to know if there are specifics, and if there's specific information, certainly it should have brought out into the fore. But to have a speculative conversation about what someone else said is something that presents me with some challenges, and as I said, it's difficult, certainly in a court of law, to do that. In the court of public opinion, it's probably even harder to essentially name and shame or identify an individual where we are based on a third-party conversation.
The opposition has been very vocal on the matter and has demanded the resignation of the Prime Minister. Mr. Wickham believes their approach is expected if they wish to gain political mileage from this situation.
No, the opposition is well and properly advised to continue along any path that they feel will present political mileage, and you're very right. It appears to be political mileage. It appears to speak to the integrity of the leader of the opposition, the Prime Minister. And I think the leader of the opposition is within his rights to pursue it. Now, the extent to which leader of the opposition pursues this or any other issues, and the extent to which the leader of the opposition would probably prefer to pursue this issue as opposed to the issue of citizenship in a foreign country, it makes perfect sense to me. Having said that, however, it's not necessarily that everything that the opposition throws out, people are going to pick up and run with. But I think that an opposition has the right to exploit what they see as weaknesses. They see this as a weakness, and I think that they have every right to go forward in this regard. Whether or not they will capture public interest is another matter altogether.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Effective December 2018, nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis applying for a visa to Canada will have to travel to Trinidad and Tobago to do this. This is because Canada now requires biometrics for applicants, with Trinidad being the closest biometric center to St. Kitts and Nevis for the Canadian High Commission. Premier Mark Brantley, who is also the Minister of Foreign Affairs, addressed this matter at his monthly press conference in Nevis on Monday.
I ought to advise that Canada has advised us that commencing in December of this year, getting the visa, and this was one of the issues that really occupied a lot of our time, because they've now said that they're moving to collecting biometrics, so fingerprints and all that, they move into that. And in order to collect biometrics, they need to see the person. So part of the difficulties as of currently, to get a visa to Canada, you have to apply online. As of December, you'll have to travel to Trinidad to get that visa. And that for us is obviously a matter that raises some concerns. The cost of travel to Trinidad is extremely high, and we feel that that is a matter that would be unhelpful if certainly taken to its logical conclusion. It would really ensure that many of us in this room gathered and others outside listening will never be able to even afford to apply for the visa, far less to get a visa.
Premier Brantley noted that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has engaged the Canadian authorities in looking at other solutions to applicants flying to Trinidad and Tobago because it is costly.
Our argument is that it's really pricing the visa out of the reach of most of us, and that would mean that effectively Canada is taken off the table insofar as people from St. Kitts and Nevis are concerned. I think the Canadian government is very sensitive to that. We have discussed a number of options with them, including that they have a mobile unit that will come to the various territories to to seek to collect the biometrics here. And one other option they have considering is if they can set up a biometric center in some place that's closer than Trinidad. They suggested Barbados, but I told them, well, Barbados only takes about $100 off the price. So it's still too high. So we have, of course, offered St. Kitts and Nevis to them. This will be a matter for them to consider as to where they set up this center, someplace other than Trinidad. But I'm very happy to say that the responses we got from the Canadian government were very positive, that they understood the problem and that they're working very hard at it.
Meanwhile, Mr. Brantley noted that there is about a 20% rejection rate of visa applicants from St. Kitts and Nevis.
Canada did raise with us that there was a high rate of rejection of nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis for their visas. And let me just qualify high quickly, because high for them is just over 20%. So roughly 1 in 5 don't get the visa. But it's high because their rate that they consider when they're looking at whether they should grant a country visa-free access is 4%. So it's high when you're just over 20 and their rate is 4. But what we explain to them is that that rate perhaps has more to do with education than anything else, because the forms from Canada were notoriously long, notoriously difficult to fill out, and they ask you questions that if you're not wise enough or you're not educated enough on the process, you may just answer in a way that ensures you don't get the visa. So a lot of visas are being denied because the forms are not filled out properly.
The Premier said that Canada has committed to engage the public with information on the visa application process.
So we have said to them that the rate of refusal can come down dramatically if Canada were to engage in some education. So the Canadian government has agreed, and through the High Commission in Barbados, you're likely to hear a lot of public service announcements shortly in St. Kitts and Nevis, assisting people how to fill out the forms properly, how to ensure that you give them all the information that they need in order for them to grant the necessary visa. The good thing is that based on the statistics that they shared with us, the overstay rate in Canada for petitions and evasions was among some of the lowest in the world.
Holders of St. Kitts and Nevis passports since November 2014 were required to apply for a visa to enter Canada. Back then, the Canadian authorities claimed that security concerns with the Citizenship by Investment program and the due diligence for applicants to the program who may possess a St. Kitts and Nevis passport was among the reasons for the imposition of visa requirements. The Team Unity government has vowed to have Canada reverse the decision and restore visa-free access to St. Kitts and Nevis. In 2017, visa requirements were also imposed on nationals of Antigua and Barbuda. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
On the road to good health, you must visit Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street. Nature's Discount is your first stop for all natural supplements to maintain the health of the entire family. Natural alternative medicines to heal your ailments. Natural weight management supplies to ensure you look good. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center also carries all of your sports nutrition supplies, cleansing and digestion products, natural health and beauty products, oils, organic and gluten-free foods, energy and endurance, and sexual well-being supplements. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street is open 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Fridays, and evenings 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturdays. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center, your get healthy, feel wealthy people.
Minister responsible for SCASPA, Ian Liburd, has refuted a report from the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party that the U.S. Transportation Security Agency, TSA, raised security concerns at the RLB International Airport that threatens the international status of the airport. According to Mr. Liburd, the Labour Party's report is fake news.
In a nutshell, the article you're referring to is nothing but fake news. And it's all about trying to create a distraction. Because, you see, the Team Unity Administration is on a roll in the process of enhancing its productive infrastructure.
Mr. Liburd told SK Newsline on Saturday that there were no major concerns raised in the TSA report and that another inspection by the TSA will be done this year, as is customary.
The last inspection made by the TSA was one in between June and July or August last year. So the next one is due in between June and August this year. And I can tell you, I read the report myself, There was no adverse issues documented by the TSA as it relates to security or any other matter. There were some minor deficiencies that have been raised.
The Labour Party, in a posting on its Facebook page Friday, said that a private partner involved in the private jet facility at the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport has cited extremely poor level of security management at the compound and has opted out of the partnership arrangement. The U Lounge at the RLB International Airport has recently been renamed. The private terminal, which began operations in May 2014, was a joint venture between the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, the St. Christopher Air and Seaports Authority, SCASPA, and the Valen Group, an aviation company with activities in aircraft sales and leasing headquartered in Mauritius, with offices in London and Dubai. Minister Liburd spoke to this matter.
But if two business partners decide to go their separate ways, who do you blame? Do you blame SCASPA? So it's really nonsense. But there's issues as it relates to the contract assigned by the local agency and the corporate division within the AA. But that's a matter to deal with the American Airlines. The U Lounge pays for the security provided, and we have an average of 3 screeners and 1 supervisor per shift. There are 4 security port constables, or 4 persons from the port constabulary, I should say, are employed by SCASPA and are paid, provided by SCASPA, and have to be paid by the U Lounge. The 2 for the access gate, 1 for the CCTV.
Meanwhile, SK Newsline asked the minister about the minor discrepancies he said were raised by the TSA in their report.
Well, minor discrepancies in terms of things like we have the gender issue as it relates to security screening, because our national security plan, for example, calls for a certain mix. And we have to amend our own legislation to be. It was legislative in a nutshell. It has nothing to do with the actual security, but our regulations are to be brought up to speed, if I put that in colloquial parlance.
Minister Liburd said the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority also conducted an inspection in 2017, included one by the International Civil Aviation Authority done this month. He said the only critical issues raised dealt with the operation of the courier service agent, and there were no issues with the airlines, agents, or the security management by SCASPA. The Labour Party claimed that over the past 3 years, the Timothy Harris-led administration continued failure through SCASPA to uphold its end of security management contract led to the U Lounge's loss of credibility with its biggest client, American Airlines. Minister Liburd refuted these claims. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. The Rams Village Superstars are the 2017-2018 SKNFA National Bank Premier League champions after winning Game 2 of the finals on Wednesday night at the Warner Park Football Stadium. Village defeated 2013 champions Saul Island Auto Supply's Connery FC 3-1 in dramatic fashion to win their 5th Premier League title, their first since 2011. Raheem Francis got the goal-scoring spree off for Village, scoring in the 4th minute of play and putting Connery under pressure. However, 5 minutes later, Errol O'Loughlin of Connery equalized in the 10th minute. In the second half, both teams challenged each other head-to-head, with Connery getting the better of the chances. However, it was a Tahir Hanley 82nd minute strike that gave Village the upper hand and putting Connery to the sword. 6 minutes later, Kimari Rogers finished off the former champions with an 88th minute strike, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Village's Tahir Hanley was voted MVP of the finals. After the match, celebration erupted at the Warner Park as Village supporters huddled together in the grandstands and the bleachers to celebrate their team for clinching the title. The presentation of winners and runners-up medals and trophies took place immediately after the match. Coach Jeffrey Hazel also spoke to the media and expressed joy at winning the championship.
We're elated. We're happy that we would have, won the championship. That was something that we set out to do ever since we started back in 2017. Several objectives, and so we were able to accomplish them. So we're quite happy right now.
What do you think is the main ingredient for keeping the momentum? You topped the season by 8 clear points. You won every round basically, and you put yourself in a position to win the final 4 playoffs and to be in the finals. What would you think? What would you say is the reason for the success?
Well, it's the commitment, the dedication from the guys. They listened to us when we presented our session plans or our team talks. and they were able to go out there and just do what we asked them to do.
Coach Hazel said now the focus is looking ahead, even in the midst of the celebrations.
We have some decisions to make, so we're going to sit down with the executive and the sponsors to see the way forward in terms of getting into the Champions League and everything. So it's a good step for us. I think the future looks very bright for us.
So I take it then that Caribbean Shield will be next.
Well, yes, we're thinking seriously about it, so we just have to sit down now and make that decision.
Meanwhile, assistant coach of the Connery team, Delwyn Delaney, said losing Wednesday's match was tough, considering they created more chances to score.
In our estimation, had the better of the game. We created chances in and around goal, but just wasn't able to finish. At the end of the day, football doesn't hand out awards for good tries and tough locks, and that sort of thing. Is who scores the goals wins the games.
So the Rams Village Superstars are crowned champions with an excellent record this season. They topped the table after winning 18 matches, losing only 4 and scoring 70 goals during the regular season. They had a perfect record in the playoffs, winning all 5 matches they played and conceding only 2 goals. This Premier League title completes the double this season as they successfully defended their Carnival Cup title in December. Congratulations to the Rams Village Superstars. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. I'm coming to you from the St. Kitts Music Festival. It's night 3, the final night of the concert, the St. Kitts Music Festival, the 22nd St. Kitts Music Festival. And even as I speak to you, Lauryn Hill is on stage wrapping up her performance. She really had the crowd going with her big hits from her album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, as well as going all the way back in the mid-90s to songs from the Fugees, from the Score album, the hip-hop group that she was a part of before going out solo. Before that, we had performances from Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle really had the crowd going. She brought one of her backup singers, B. Slade, who is a former gospel singer, Tony, performing some lead vocals with him and really getting the crowd in a frenzy, bringing them back down memory lane and having a wonderful performance. Getting the night started off on Saturday night was Rhythm of the Beat, the group that's made up of persons from St. Kitts, band members from St. Kitts, singers from St. Kitts who are now based overseas, people like Bruce Skerritt and others who really brought the house down at the start of the show. They really had a fantastic performing some of the songs from the 1970s when they were here in St. Kitts, when they had a band here in St. Kitts. And they really had a wonderful, wonderful performance, giving the fans a nostalgic feel. And we spoke with Rhythm of the Beat after their performance on Saturday night.
Tell people that we opened up for Patti LaBelle, so that's a great honor to be performing before her, and to be able to do it and feel good about it, to see the reaction of the crowd and see how responsive they were and how receptive to our music from back in the 70s into a younger generation out there. So it was very exciting to be a part of Patti LaBelle and Lauryn Hill and even Fetty Wap. I don't know much about him, but to just be among that group was truly amazing to be a part of that.
Your group has come with a nostalgic feel, basically, and still was able to resonate with the crowd, still was able to get a response, despite the fact of their artists that are appealing to the millennials on the stage, but you were still able to relate to people.
Always be good music. Good lyrics, good melodies will always touch people. And that's exactly what happens with those older songs. So, no surprises. And the crowd was so receptive, it was so heartwarming.
So the St. Kitts Music Festival came to a close after Lauryn Hill's performance was Fetty Wap, rounding things off, of course, for the millennials and the millennial rappers, the millennial rap fans, those persons who like trap music. Fetty Wap really brought the house down to close off the 22nd annual St. Kitts Music Festival. Of course, the concert side of the festival ended on Saturday into the wee hours of Sunday morning, but the festival continued with White Sands at Carambola on Sunday. Reporting for SK Newsline on the 22nd annual St. Kitts Music Festival, I'm Andre Huey.